After a couple of busy days, we were finally able to get back on that road to Diamond 1 grind, finishing up in Platinum rank, hitting Diamond 5 today on May the 11th after work. Of course, we're using FLOOWANDEREEZE. Decklist video will be in the description, and I have some pretty insane matches to show you from that Platinum grind. You saw that thumbnail correctly. Let's go ahead and take a look at that first match. Alright, I got an insane match for you here. I had no idea that I was going to run into this, but, you know, after a couple of days of not playing that much, I'm a little rusty. But I start off going first, which is a huge plus, finally breaking the curse and winning some coin tosses. A pretty insane opening hand, you know, Robina starter, Extravagance, and Duality. Like, can't really ask for much more. D-Fissure, right? So if they're on tier, that's pretty much GG's. Robina into Eaglin. The one thing I will say about this, if you notice, the opponent doesn't have sleeves, and this is like a basic field. They haven't like decked out their cosmetics. This likely means this is a new deck that they just kind of crafted or created, right? So I didn't actually take that into consideration that much when I was playing, but I did notice, I'm like, yeah, if this guy doesn't have stuff on his cards, probably not a deck that was out in the game before. And what just came to the game? Well, blackwings. And I'm like, there's no way I'm facing blackwings, right? Like, that's a free win. If it is up in this rank, Plat 1, like, come on. Sure enough, the opponent is indeed on blackwings. They start off with Simon, and everything's getting banished, and I'm like, this is a, you know, this card, isn't this a FTK against them too? Like, what are they really going to do here? So they normal summon this. They still have their normal summon for turn. They're going to bring some cards up, and we're going to go ahead and activate Eaglin and bring back Robina, search for Ryza. And what's interesting here is the reason I search for Ryza is because I still have the Dreaming Town trap, right? So off of map, if I brought Empin and I bring Empin to field, my map is useless, but I can't bring another big bird to my hand, right? So I need a bird that I can recycle, either the Ryza or the Apex Avian. And Apex might have been a better choice, but let's see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and Ryza stack their deck. Probably a mistake. This is, and again, I have no idea how this deck plays. I've never played against it. I don't know what the cards do. I probably should have targeted this monster and not the spell and trap, but I knew that they still had the normal summon for turn, and I was like, I don't want them to get another free search. So they go ahead and they special summon this card, and this card is Synchro from the deck. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want you to be doing that. So I'm going to go ahead now and bring out Ryza again. So again, being a little rusty, I kind of just forgot that, oh man, I'm going to have to tribute off my Empin. Okay, not the biggest end of the world. Like, if I stop their plays, I'm putting them on, you better have a good normal summon to extend with. And I really shouldn't have done that because I don't know Blackwings at all, and I don't know if they really do or really can play off of one more normal summon or not. So sure enough, they are able to. They bring this trap card, which I guess is crazy insane. And off the Sudri, they're going to be able to tribute their face down monster and bring out the token. They're going to be able to go into the synchro place here. So pretty strong stuff. And then they normal summon the Zephyros, hit me for 4,000, and then activate this trap card, which synchro summons from their banished pile, and they can just activate this from hand. And of course they bring out this, like, this is basically Geomathmech, which if you know anything about FLOOWANDEREEZE, FLOOWANDEREEZE can deal with Geomathmech in the extra monster zone because Empin doesn't beat over it because it's unaffected by card effects. This card is a 3,000 body that's unaffected by other card effects. I can't out this with my engine, so I'm kind of screwed, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to lose this match after going first and starting off with such a good hand. So I spent a lot of time this turn thinking about what to do, and you know, I'm down to like 50 seconds, and I'm like, can I go for a Zeus play because I got map up? I can normal summon off map, normal summon for turn, go into Zeus, activate, you know, no bird effects. And then I realized off of the first Extravagance, I banished all of my level 1 Xyz monsters, so I couldn't even do that. What I have left here is my high link monsters and then the Zeus itself, so that's not going to be an option. And I'm just like, I refuse to give up. I'll just let the opponent kill me. Let me see what I can do though. We go ahead and we activate Extravagance, banishing even more from our extra deck, leaving us with only 3 cards left. But if you do run into a scenario like this, you really do have to rely on your extra deck. At least we top deck the Unexplored Winds, which is going to give us ability to recycle cards. Not that we can really draw an out, but we're going to attempt to play a little bit, and I have to worry about leaving my birds exposed in attack mode because I am at 700 life points, right? So I'm trying to stay conscious of all of these factors, and I'm running really, really low on time. All of my monsters are getting wedge counters, which means that the opponent can take one of them, but I have the Advent of Adventure, so if they target one to take, I can chain Advent and banish it if I wanted to, right? But like I said, I can't leave these small birds on board. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back the Empin off of the Toucan here. and I'm going to actually go into Ryza, and I'm going to target this card here because I actually want to tribute this off with the Empen I brought back. Unfortunately, I do have to stack my own deck with a dead Pot of Extravagance here, but that's, I guess, okay for now. And we end the turn not activating Empen's effect because I'm running out of spells and traps. Konami, please bring Matt back to 2. And I don't want to risk running out and then my Empen fizzling when I actually do need the search or the spell or trap. What I have right now is fine, but you may have noticed that I ended my turn without setting the Advent of Adventure or setting the Dreaming Town because I was literally on 1 second. So I just had to end the turn. I couldn't even afford to set a card. And what a huge misplay, because what I'm thinking is I can go into the BLS, into access code. That's my only attempt to play. And if I can do that, that's strong because I can actually overcome, it's strong enough to overcome the full armor master. So how am I going to even do this? How is this even going to work? Well, let's see what's possible here. So continuing to activate Unexplored Winds to put cards back so that my birds won't fizzle and I actually have things to search. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring back all of the birds now because I, again, just left them in the banished pile because I didn't have time to actually bring them back last turn. So we're going to have to try to set something up this turn while trying to stay alive with 400 life points despite leaving small birds on the board. But we still need to leave enough birds on the board that we can blink off next turn. How is this even going to be possible without us dying? Okay, let's see. What's funny enough is while this card says it's unaffected by other cards' effects, Empen is still negating it from activating effects. Let's see, why is that? So while this tribute summon card is in the monster zone, your opponent cannot activate. So it says your opponent cannot. So it doesn't affect the card, it says the opponent. So my opponent can't do it. So that's an important interaction to note of. So even though this card is unaffected by card effects, my opponent cannot attempt to activate the effect of this monster to take control of my Empen here with the wedge counter because it's in attack mode. If Empen said it affected the card, your opponent's cards cannot activate, that would be different, but it says your opponent itself can't activate, right? Or if it said like monsters your opponent controls or something, like this card would be unaffected by it, I'm pretty sure. But because it's actually affecting my opponent, that's why they can't use the Armor Master effect. So they do switch to defense and attempt to take the Empen this turn to crash them, and then we're going to chain the Advent of Adventure to banish it, and that's actually good because we can recycle it and use Unexplored Winds to tribute off anything else they bring. During the end phase, we're going to attempt to load up the board. My thinking here is, okay, the opponent is already switched this to defense mode, so they can't beat over me for game if I leave a small bird on board. If they normal summon a small bird, I can trigger map. So I just need to make sure I have one small bird left to summon to trigger an effect so I can go into Ryza so that it doesn't expose me if they do normal summon and try to go for game. But I did gain 500 off of the Advent, which is actually helpful because I don't think they have any normal summons that are above like 1600 attack. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like, at least from what I've seen so far. So yeah, these are all getting wedge counters, but I didn't actually read the bottom part of this effect. End phase, destroy all monsters on the field with a wedge counter. So all of this summoning, if I activate, as I'm activating their effects, are all going to get destroyed because they are activating their effects to summon their other birds, and they're getting wedge counters on top of it. Notice that this Empen doesn't have a wedge counter because I didn't search a spell or trap, so no effect was activated. And then when I bring back this Empen, I'm actually going to summon it and not activate the effect again because I have nothing else to summon. Keeping the Robina in case they do normal summon for turn, a map will trigger normal summon Robina and then bring out the Ryza to spin back, right? So I'm feeling comfortable. I'm like, okay, I might actually have a chance here if the opponent doesn't have any back row. I can normal summon for turn or normal summon off map, no effects activated, then link off the 2 small birds and 1 Empen for the BLS, and then go into access code and finally beat over this thing, right? Who would have ever thought that playing these random cards in your extra deck would have helped, other than Zeus, right? So the opponent unfortunately does end up destroying the Toucan because it had the wedge counter, and they're now in defense mode, meaning they can activate the effect. But we're still okay because I can still use map and normal summon for turn, which is what I should do here. Let's see. Well, first we're going to put back to draw off Unexplored Winds. Draw nothing, of course. Okay, banish Eaglin off of map, normal summon for turn. I'm actually running low on small birds here as well, so we have to be a little bit careful. But we're going to now finally go into BLS, just attack for no reason. But if I was able to resolve this effect, that's pretty much GG's against Blackwing. I don't think they really have anything else to deal with it. If I can get this card to gain 1500 attack, then nothing they have can beat over it, I'm pretty sure. So I just end up passing my turn, and this technically was a misplay. Should I have gone into access code here? Probably, because that's literally like the last card along with Tri-Brigade Shureg left in my deck, and I would love to use Shureg to banish this, but it's unaffected, so I have to go for the access code to beat over it, right? and I wanted to keep an Empen on board just in case, so I didn't want to overcommit. The opponent draws and does not normal summon for turn, because I guess all they have is those normal summons, and they know if they normal summon, they're going to set us up for a board. But the fact that they pass turn here is really strong. Now I'm going to activate Unexplored Winds, put back some birds, draw 2, and just go straight into access code. Why didn't I normal summon for turn first? Well, because I'm stupid and I put back my other small bird. If I normal summon Robina to link off, then I have no bird in hand to go into rotation to get my other birds back. So I have to use the Empen anyways, and I finally am able to beat over the Blackwing Full Armor Master. I do get a wedge counter, but it should be okay because they have nothing to use it with. Discard Pot of Extravagance as it's completely dead because I don't even have 3 cards left in the extra deck. The opponent sets and sets, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually win now because my engine is still going thanks to Unexplored Winds putting stuff back. I can now actually play full rotation as long as their face down card isn't something that's going to interrupt me. And they reveal that it's not, and they kind of see the writing on the wall and actually scoop it up. So what a crazy match, summoning the Black Luster Soldier and Access Code in Floowandereeze. Yeah, insane match. Let me know if you made it this far what you think of the video, guys. I thought this was a pretty crazy match. Yes, I mean, I misplayed probably in the beginning, but that's what happens when you play against new decks. You have to learn the matchup before you get better with it. So I'll definitely play better, hopefully next time if I do run into this deck. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. Thank you for watching. Quantum is out.